Well, good morning, everybody. I am at the coast this morning. Stayed over in our camper van last night, and we're back in Suffolk. We're at near Ipswich and right near a nuclear power station, which is called Sizewell. So I'm up about half an hour before dawn, and I'm looking to see if I can find a composition. There's quite a lot of low cloud, but there is some high cloud, and the sun is trying to break through a little bit, so we may get lucky with some sky. Let's see how we get on. At this part of the coast, lots of fishing boats go out to sea straight off the beach and then moored up over the beach. But what we do have is, I don't know if you can see it over here, is some I don't know, a stanchion or something similar that's standing out in sea. So I think I'm going to go over there to try and take a first shot of the morning. So I've moved around, and I'm now sort of pretty much straight onto this platform, and what I'm trying to do is get to a point where the cross supports are pretty much lined up. So if I move a pretty small amount in either direction, you'll see that the different supports begin to show behind. So I'm trying to go as simple as possible. So I'm going to spend a bit of time trying to make sure that I line up and just get that perfect alignment on those cross hatches. So I've taken a test shot, and as I pull back, you'll see that the white balance is really not representing what's going on. So what I'm going to do is select what I think is probably going to be the right level. So I've gone to 4500, take a test shot, still too blue. Move it up to 5600, take the dog out of the picture. Hello, dog. Good morning. And that's much closer to the conditions at hand, so that's where I'll leave it. So I put on a 6-stop filter, which is giving me a exposure of 27 seconds. I'm going to see if I can get some movement in the sky. So this was the first picture that I took on the day, and I'm quite pleased with it. It's taken with the 10 to 24 wide angle, and although the focus of the picture is just very simply that stanchion, there is a degree of depth in the picture, and I think that really comes from the light along the horizon. So we've got sort of the white of the wash over here, which is somewhat offset by this darkness on the beach, but this darker part here is offset by the darker part of the sky over here, and with the four edges of the
of the frame pushing in, the focus towards your attention is drawn into that central part, and certainly the clouds behind that stanchion gives a certain depth to the picture.
I have been shooting with my 10-24mm on my Fuji X-T3, but this stanchion out at sea is, I don't know, probably 300 meters away from me into the water. So I switched up to my 18-55. Some people call it the kit lens, I call it a fabulous travel lens. And I've got a little K&F variable ND filter, which is the only ND filter that I have for this lens. So I'm going to give that a try. And because it's very grey now, we've gone past sunrise, I'm just going to go for a sort of more classic fine art black and white style image. Let's see how this turns out. So I've gone for a very simple composition, just positioning that stanchion just a little bit off from the left. I'm nearly at horizontal. I've placed the horizon nearly halfway down the picture, and as you can see, it's so very grey. There's going to be very little detail other than the stanchion. I think I'm going for a 15 or 20 second exposure. So I've dropped down the tripod and trying to capture the waves moving on the beach with the stanchion behind it. I'm going for a much shorter exposure now, 4 or 5 seconds, to hopefully get some nice movement of the waves across the beach.
This is also taken with the 18-55 but at its widest setting. And this is my favourite picture that I took in this session. I really like the movement of the waves at the bottom third of the image. I really like the way that there is movement in a sort of S shape across this part, which leads your eye into the stanchion, and we're beginning to get some textures now in the sky.
As is often the way, just as when you think it's about time to go home, the light changes, and now we've got this ridiculously, incredibly beautiful sky. So I've gone back to the 10-24 and hoping to catch some of that beautiful tones in the sky. I'm still using a ND filter to capture the movement of the water, and I hope you can hear this because I'm basically in the water and it's quite noisy.
And then all of a sudden the sky sort of, it didn't quite explode, but we got a lot more colour in the sky, pastel shades. And so I moved back to the 10-24 mm lens, and I took this at its widest point at 10 mm, and really to try and emphasize the the moodiness in the sky. It's a 3-second exposure, so again the movement of the waves across the beach are there to give flow into the image, but it's really about the overall impact of this sort of empty sky, which is sort of really sort of moody but beginning to get coloured.
So isn't that always the way? You think it's not going to be great weather, it's not going to be very conducive to photography. You get up, you come out anyway, it's looking pretty grey, and you're just about to pack up and leave, and then all of a sudden the sky gives you some colour, gives you something to work with. So although I was going for some very simplistic style, so I've got some nice wave movements in front of that stanchion and in front of that thing. So I'm quite pleased with what I've got. It's now time to head back and go and get a bacon butty and a cup of coffee.
So, thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this, and if you have, please give it a thumbs up. Please think about subscribing, and maybe see you on the next one. Thanks very much for watching, and bye for now.